You're listening to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Ryan Hill.
I'm John Galantis.
You can find our show online at clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions for Dr. Shah or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028, or you can email us at contact@clearviewtodayshow.com.
That's right. We want to help you guys help us keep the conversation moving forward. You can support the show. You can share it online. Leave us a good 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasting content from. You're going to find some links right there in the description, so you can do just that.
The verse of the day today is coming to you from Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 8. So they read distinctly from the book in the law of God, and they gave the sense and helped them to understand the reading.
Nehemiah has become one of my favorite books, not only in the Old Testament, but just in the Bible as a whole. I love the book of Nehemiah, and the people are hearing from God in his word. And the things that they hear, they actually cut them to the heart. You know, they heard about the holiness of God. They saw their sinfulness in the light of his holiness. And even though they were tempted to despair, Nehemiah and then Ezra and all the other leaders of that time, they were giving them the good news of God's grace. And that was what was helping them understand it.
Yeah, those writers, those characters in the post-exilic period where people are coming back from exile into the land of God's people, they're rebuilding the temple, and then of course with Nehemiah they're rebuilding the walls around the city. It's just an example of how the power of God's word not just motivates you to do what's right, but helps you examine your heart, because people hear from the book of the law, they hear from God's word, and it moves them to repentance. You hear that in the story of Ezra and of Nehemiah, and it's just a reminder to us, you know, what we're doing here through the Clearview Today show. You and on your own worshiping and reading God's word in your own devotional time, man, it's so important to be in God's word.
That's right. We want to remind you guys to download the Date the Word app. That's where all these verses are coming from. We're going to leave a link right in the description so you can do just that. But Ryan, my friend, I got a question for you.
Here comes the money.
Oh!
Here comes the money.
I'm going to give you some money today, my friend, because I got $1 million question for you. Money. All right, so check this out. I'm going to give you $1 million.
And I love that.
You have to attend every single Super Bowl for the rest of your life in person. Now think about that now. You have to attend every Super Bowl. A couple years in a row, it might not be that big a deal, but the older you get, you're going to start caring less and less and less and less about the Super Bowl. Like right now, like me, I don't care enough about the Super Bowl to go to it at all.
Yeah.
Now, it's an expense-paid trip. You don't have to pay for it.
Oh.
But you have to arrange all the stuff. Like, it's coming, like you'll just put in, like, a credit card number, and it's just whatever. It's done.
Sure.
But you have to arrange
travel.
Yep. And then go and attend the Super Bowl. Like I said, first couple years, it may not be that bad, but you have to, like, imagine something, like, is there anything big? Is any of your family's birthdays in February?
No, not really.
Yeah, imagine like if something like you got grandkids and one of their birthdays is in February, you have to attend the Super Bowl.
I'd probably take that.
Ryan Hill.
I'd probably take it. And here's so every year here at Clearview, we do like a Super Bowl watch party with like the students and the college students and that. I'd probably just turn that into like a youth trip. Like,
okay, theirs are not covered financially.
Well, I just opened it up. I mean, some of them would go.
Okay.
I just open it up and be like, hey, our church is doing this. If you want to sign on, here's the information.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd probably take it. If it's an expense-paid trip, sure.
But I mean, but that's every year. It's not like it's. I mean, you are compelled to go.
Yeah, but it's a short commitment. I mean, I'm going to be gone for a week tops.
Yeah, but I mean, think about that's a week every year for something that you really don't care about that much, and it's every year. It's every year for the rest of your life. Imagine being your 80s, having to try to go to see the Super Bowl.
I'd be a millionaire in my 80s. I'll have people to take me to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, would you do it, David? $1 million, but you have to attend the Super Bowl every year? I wouldn't do it either.
No, I'd take it.
Nick,
sure.
Would you do it? You would? I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Why wouldn't you do it?
Because I just think it's cumbersome. It's like really cumbersome to have to go. I mean, look, like I said, the first couple years, it's like, oh yeah, we get to attend the Super Bowl. That's cool. But then I'm like 50, 55, 60, and I'm like, oh my gosh, all right. Let's get the arrangements going. Let's get the plane ticket.
It's a trip like, you know, you and your wife, or maybe like you and your boys. Like you get to look forward to it every year.
But we're not even football fans.
Who cares?
Man. Have you ever been to a game of football, like played live?
I've been to a college football game.
Yeah, it takes like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, it's fun.
Bro.
You get to walk around the stands and like go get a hot dog and...
You surprised me. I really thought you would
I'd take that. Yeah.
I thought you would say no and that David would say yes.
No, I would take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's ask Dr. Shah. I would not take it. I would not take $1 million. I have to attend every Super Bowl.
Unless I have to, like, out of the million, out of my personal money, I have to finance the trip.
No.
Then I'm going to say,
no, it's paid for.
But if it's paid for, yeah, sure.
Jeez.
The only thing you lose is time.
Yes, that's what I can't get back. I can get my money back, but having to go to the Super Bowl every year?
Yeah, you just playing for it.
All right.
That's fine.
All
I'd take
right.
it.
I wouldn't do it.
Write in and let us know. Would you take that deal? $1 million, but you get it. You have to take. You're compelled to take an expense-paid trip to the Super Bowl
Every year.
Every year.
Without fail.
Every single year without
If
fail.
your wife's birthday or your anniversary's in February, you're out of luck. You're out of luck. You're not thinking. See, this guy right here is
You're not
thinking.
gone the whole month. It's not like we're shut down for the rest of February because I have to go to this one event.
Oh, shoot. Ellie's birthday, I think, is Super Bowl week. It's February 17th.
Happy birthday for the rest of your life, honey.
Yeah.
We're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Write in and let us know, 252-582-5028, or you can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. We'll be back after this. Elizabeth, my darling bride, what would you say is the most beneficial thing you could do for yourself in the morning?
Probably drink an entire pot of coffee when sitting.
I'd say that's a close second. No, the best thing you can do for yourself is to start every morning with a daily devotional.
If only we had one to talk about.
Well, as it turns out, we have two.
Right now, you can unlock the power of daily inspiration, wisdom, and spiritual growth in our devotional series, 30 Days Through a Crisis and 30 Days to a New Beginning. Written by our pastor, Dr. Abadan Shah, and his wife, Nicole, the 30 Days devotional series is designed to reveal new biblical truths every single day.
That's right, and every day is a new revelation to guide you on your Christian journey toward a more meaningful and purposeful life. You can pick up your copy today from our website, that's clearviewbc.org, or you can grab both books on Amazon, Apple Books, and Audible.
That's 30 Days Through a Crisis and 30 Days to a New Beginning by Abadan and Nicole Shah. And don't forget, these are only the first two in an expanding devotional series, so keep your eyes peeled for future installments.
Thanks for listening. Now let's get back to the show. Welcome back to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions or suggestions for new topics, send us a text at 252-582-5028.
That's right, and we're here once again in the Clearview Today studio with Dr. Abadan Shah, who's a PhD in New Testament textual criticism, professor at Carolina University, author, full-time pastor, and the host of today's show. You can find all his work on his website. That's abadanshah.com. Dr. Shah, $1 million, but every single year in February, you have to attend the Super Bowl in person.
What do I get?
You get $1 million.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Every
And-
single year, though.
Hold on, tell them the rest of it. And the trip itself is paid for.
Yeah, you don't have to pay
it
for
doesn't
it. You
cost
just have to
anything.
go.
That's an easy one.
But I feel like...
That's what I'm saying.
Here's my
Absolutely.
thing. Here's my thing. I feel like the first couple years, no big deal. It's like a fun football trip. But then you're like in your 60s, in your 70s, you've got stuff to do in February. You're not really that into football. And it's like, all right, I got to go to the Super Bowl and sit in this stadium
Football.
for 6
It's
hours.
one game.
Football is great, man.
It's also what it's not going to take you like 2.5 weeks to go to the Super Bowl.
I just don't
It's one
think,
game.
I just don't think you're getting the gravity of it. I think it sounds easy now, but it's not gonna be easy.
What do you
It's
think
gonna
when
be
I'm
annoying.
70, I can't make a road trip to go see the Super Bowl?
A road trip, isn't it in like Texas or something?
It's everywhere.
Oh, it's all over
Everywhere.
the place.
Who cares?
All right. And y'all will
It
both.
doesn't cost me anything.
Also, David
And
said
I
he
get $1
wouldn't
million.
do it. Also, David said he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I just feel like when I get to be like in my 70s or 80s, I just wouldn't enjoy it.
Man,
That's
y'all
what I'm
are set, Like
saying.
70s, 80s, I'm gonna be like jet setting around the planet. Like
That's right.
I'm ready to go.
But to devote so much of your time to a game you're not even interested in.
Who cares? I might be interested in it. Who cares?
All right. All right.
You know, I traveled to Turkey
Uh-huh.
a few months ago. Well, now about a year ago.
Yeah.
To be honest, a year and a half ago. And Dr. Carl Rasmussen.
Okay.
He's the one who did the Zondervan map. And he and his wife, I mean, they're in their 80s.
Really?
They're still out there.
Still out there traveling.
Taking pictures, and he has a big website where people come and buy pictures from him, biblical site, and he's still traveling.
Was he there when you went?
He's the one who led the group,
Oh, okay.
so we get to hang out with him.
Wow.
80 years old,
Still
still
going
up
at
there
it.
walking around.
Yeah.
Our
Our tour guide in Greece, I mean, she wasn't like
Yeah.
in her early 40s or anything. She was
what I was-
up there in age.
Well, that's what I was
and-
going to say. Our tour guide in Israel is kind of up there in age. You wouldn't know it looking at him. though.
70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Traveling around. Speaking of traveling around,
Oh.
we're going to continue the conversation from yesterday's episode about Dr. Shah's recent trip across the pond.
across the pond.
I tried to say it very posh, but it didn't come out that way.
Jolly old England,
Yeah.
where they had tea and crumpets, and they stick their pinky out. They have tea and scandal at 4:30. They just
Everyday scandal scheduled
they
at
just do
4:30.
everything proper over there,
Sure.
except for all the knife violence. That's kind of
Yeah, that's not great.
yeah.
Or the crossbow
Oh, the
violence.
crossbow.
Crossbow violence.
That goes to tell
That's
you
not great.
that guns are not the problem,
Yeah.
folks.
Right.
You're stinking
human heart.
what, mate?
There are bad people everywhere.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
It's not about the wheel, it's the nut behind the wheel.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Dr. Shah, yeah, on yesterday's episode, we were talking about your trip to the London Museum, I think it was.
Yes,
the
British Museum.
British Museum.
London Museum right now is closed. They're remodeling it.
Gotcha. So the British Museum, going around and seeing all of those things, and I was floored yesterday when you said that there's about 10% of what they have on display.
Yes.
But if you stop and see everything, not even read everything, just see everything, it's going to take you a couple days to get through.
Easily.
Unbelievable.
Is the British Museum in London?
Yes.
So there's the London Museum, but then there's the British Museum, but they're both
Two
in
different
London.
things.
Got you.
Two different
Well,
things.
So London,
One is more focused on London's history, and the other one is more,
just
everybody
British.
else's.
Yeah.
It just happens to also be in London.
Got it.
Yes.
That makes sense.
London Museum is more like in the central London part, like to the west of St. Paul's Cathedral.
Okay.
British Museum and British Library is more to the north of London. Not like north, like way north. It's just north of the central part of London.
As far as a city, if you had to compare it to a kind of city here in the States, what's a comparable, I guess, companion for London?
Wow, that's a great question.
Is it like a New York City or?
No, but I would say bring New York along with Washington, D.C., along with a little bit of Atlanta thrown in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say somewhere there,
In that,
maybe.
in that,
Okay.
in that
Maybe.
main street. So British Library, there's lots of ancient texts. There's lots of like biblical manuscripts, religious texts and stuff.
Yeah,
What all-
but it's a library.
right. It's
It's
an
a
actual
library.
library. You can go and
Yeah,
get.
you cannot check books out.
Oh.
I could have gotten a card there, but for time's sake, I couldn't do that. I was like, oh, I got to get in line there, and then I got to show my ID and all that. It won't take long, but I was like, I got to go to the British Museum, so I skipped the card.
Well, you know what they say: having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. Just going to put myself down for that. That's just for me. Shout out to
Who says that?
that was Arthur. Arthur the Aardvark said
Got
that.
it. Sure. Okay.
So British Museum, more than just texts, more than just documents.
Yeah, it's British Library is just a library,
Right.
But it has some ancient documents there, and then it also has a section of its special treasures or exhibits. And by the way, the British Library is built like a ship.
Really?
Yeah, if
Wow.
You, yeah
I didn't
if
know
you,
that.
If you ever see the picture, you'll be like, oh, that's a ship.
Nice.
But they have a special exhibit where they have Shakespeare's first folio.
Oh,
They
man.
have a copy of the Emancipation Proclamation,
Really?
Wow.
one of the first ones.
I didn't know that.
And then, of course, as I mentioned, Codex Sinaiticus, Codex Alexandrinus. These are 4th and 5th century codices of the New Testament. And then some other things, of course.
So this is the British Museum, but in a sense, this is kind of like
This
world
is
history.
library.
Library. British Library, but this is like world history almost.
In a sense.
Okay. Gotcha.
But museum is a little bit of a walk from there, coming back towards central London. So we decided to walk and realized quickly it was a long walk. I wish we had taken an Uber or something.
Oh.
Right.
But anyways, we walked and we made it on time to the British Museum.
Wow.
And we had lunch there. So we went ahead and ate our lunch and then began our tour. What I did was I mapped out what I wanted to see in the British Museum because there's no way, like I said, 5 days if you want to read everything, 2 days if you just want to glance at everything and keep moving.
Wow.
2 days.
That
That's
big.
incredible.
That's big. That
Wow.
layers, levels. And just 10% of everything.
Yeah.
So I decided to focus on 2 major areas because we only had like an hour and a half,
Right.
maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
So 2 major areas. I focused on Assyrian history and I focused on Persian history.
So that's sort of the thing. The British Museum is not just British history. This is everybody's history. We're going and getting
This
stuff
is
from everybody.
This is you have Indian history, like India, Indian history. You have American history. You have let's see, Greek history, Egyptian history. Chaldean history. I mean, you name it, it's there.
Wow.
And tons of things from there.
Wow.
I'll focus mostly on Assyrian because I haven't been able to see much of that.
Right.
I wanted to see things like the winged bulls of Khorsabad, found in the northern part of Syria. Oh, I mean, I'm not going to get to see that anywhere.
Yeah.
The places I go to are like Israel, Egypt, Turkey, Greece.
Yeah, they're not going to have Assyrian artifacts.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
No. So I made sure I went there. I also wanted to see the pottery from Hatzor that was there. I wanted to see this Taylor prism. Taylor prism is this six-sided prism. And on this prism, there's a reference to King Hezekiah and the siege of Jerusalem.
Oh, wow.
That's in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Where it says, I locked him up like a bird in a cage. Yeah.
And that is...
And it's just sitting, it's right there.
Yeah. And it was like, it's not even like front and center sitting in the museum. No, it was like second level in this display case. Nobody around there. And I was like, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? And I'm like, oh, there it is. And I went, like, sure enough, Taylor Prism. I was like, Nicole, right here. She's like, that? I'm like, yeah. That's
It's like, and the Bible talks about it, and it's sitting right there in front of your face.
Taylor
Yeah.
Prism.
Incredible.
So saw that. Rosetta Stone was a big on my list. You know, Rosetta Stone is where you have those three languages that helped us to decipher hieroglyphs.
Right.
So I wanted to see that. And my goodness, the time of the year we went, not the best.
Really? A lot of people there.
Yeah, I would not have gone this time of the year because it's tourist season. I'm in the height of tourist season.
Right.
Wow.
Height. So people are like flies.
Oh,
If not for the conference, you would have gone maybe January. or
Definitely, I would not have gone. I mean, have you ever seen me go in like July before?
no.
I never go.
No.
July.
That's
Yeah.
because that's when everyone else does.
Yeah, I usually either go in January, February, March, or I will go somewhere like September, October.
Right.
Never July.
In the tourist off season.
Yeah. So Rosetta Stone was hard because I told Nicole, I said, I'm going to maybe say a quick word or two. Forget that. People are doing selfies. They're standing there.
No chance.
Yeah,
No
not
chance.
happening.
Nothing happening. So it was tough.
Wow.
But I did.
But you got to see it.
see it, take a picture with it.
Yeah.
Is it big? Is it like a really big
Oh
stone?
yeah, it's huge. It's
Wow.
about this big.
Wow.
Incredible.
Like when I say this big, I'm like 1, 2, 3, at least 3, 4 feet tall
Wow.
and 2.5 feet wide and about good 4 inches, 5 inches thick.
Did Napoleon and his guys discover it? But it was ancient, right? It's ancient Egyptian artifact.
Yeah.
So how did so what are the three languages? Greek is one.
Greek is on it.
Okay.
And then ancient Egyptian.
Okay.
And then I think Coptic.
Okay. So did the ancient Egyptians use it to? The ancient Egyptians are the ones who, I guess, carved this stone to decipher their own hieroglyphs or ancient hieroglyphs from Egypt from like way back in the day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I know it's a translation thing. Isn't that Rosetta Stone? That's like a thing that we
Yeah,
have
it's a
now.
program, yeah, that you get to learn languages.
But based on this thing that has Egyptian, Greek, and Coptic on it.
That's a good question. What was its original intent?
Yeah.
Intended use?
Or do we even know? You know, by the time Napoleon and his guys found it, it was already ancient.
True.
You know?
Yeah, there may be nothing detailing what that actual purpose behind it was.
Yeah. I don't know.
This was in 1799 that it was discovered.
Right.
And of course, Alexandria, Egypt. And I was trying to get some of the facts and figures on it. So 3 languages. You have ancient Egyptian, which is written in hieroglyph, and
That's what you see on like the pyramid walls and stuff like that.
right. And then you have Demotic, and then underneath that is Greek. So when you see these 3, it took a while for them to break the code.
Right.
And when they broke the code, they were able to now interpret the hieroglyphs.
Because I see. Because if it's like you've got the hieroglyphs and it's like, all right, here's how you do the same thing in Demotic, and then here's how you do the same thing in Greek, and then I guess once it's in Greek, you can translate it to whatever because Greek was like the language of the everyday
That's right.
people or whatever.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's how that worked.
That makes sense. But
So-
it was crowded though.
It was very crowded.
Wow. I can imagine with something like Rosetta Stone that everybody
wants to see it, and
Yeah.
it was a little frustrating. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna push and shove and get my stuff in there and get the pictures and a quick video. And I said, just film me
Yeah.
standing there. Try the best you can. Take out the other people.
Yeah.
But just me looking at it, and she did.
So all the Assyrian stuff, is this the same Assyria that took Israel into exile? Same exact time period?
Yep, same,
Wow.
same people.
Wow.
So, walking around seeing some like Ashur Nasir Paul and Ashur Bani Paul. I mean, I'm like, wow, I've seen these pictures in textbooks, never
Right.
saw them in real life.
That's incredible.
They have some big calves, by the way.
Really?
I mean, those stone carvings, their calf muscles are usually like
See, I didn't know if you meant like big cows, like big animals, or like their calf muscles.
They're not skipping leg days.
Like
what
they
you're
were.
saying.
I got you.
and
Never-
even their arms, like they're like
ancient Assyrians never skip leg day.
no, they don't skip leg days or preacher curls.
Very nice. Very nice.
So saw that, and then I also wanted to see Ur, because that's where in Iraq now. So I was like, I'm not gonna get to see that, so let me go see that. And then Iran, well, Persia. So some of the ancient things from Persia, I was able to see those as well.
Was that Ur like Abraham's Ur,
Yeah.
where he was from?
Ur the
Wow.
Chaldean.
Okay. Wow.
That's wild.
That's incredible. It's really cool to see all this stuff that's biblically based,
Yeah.
represented in reality.
Yeah.
In ancient
Yeah.
reality, ancient history.
And there are several books out that I was able to go buy them that Christian scholars or Christian writers have taken to help you walk through the British Museum and understand the Bible.
Wow.
I just didn't have time to read it because I bought it at the museum library.
Right.
But I have them now with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we'll do some episodes on them here in
If
the
I ever
future.
go back, I'll definitely be ready for the British Museum.
That's right.
That's awesome. So after British Museum, what comes next in your trip?
After British Museum, we sort of ate, and we already ate, and we walked around and did all that, and then I decided to we wanted to go see Sherlock Holmes.
The museum, the
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes Museum.
Yeah,
Nice.
because it was not very far from there, so I got a taxi and we drove there, and we were supposed to be there like 30 minutes later. We got there 30 minutes earlier, so I was able to walk to the shops and kind of see what all is there.
Nice.
And got ready, and it was a fun time walking through Sherlock Holmes, supposed home.
Did you ever
Yeah.
did you ever read Sherlock Holmes as a kid?
Yeah,
Really?
I actually read and watched a lot of Sherlock Holmes.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I forgot the name of the actor, but he's like really creepy like. Not of course Benedict Arnold.
Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch.
So, are you Team Cumberbatch or are you Team Downey Jr. for Sherlock?
Neither.
Really?
I like them both. I think they're great. But mine is the guy from the 70s. What was his name?
I'm going to tell you right
He's
now.
like really sharp features.
John Cleese, Robert Stevens.
Could be. Yes. I think it is.
Hang on, let me.
Played Sherlock Holmes. Roger Moore.
Roger Moore is
Sherlock
James
Holmes
Bond,
in
right?
New York in
Could
1972.
be. Is it this guy?
No.
No, not him.
No.
Let's see. Sherlock Holmes in the 70s. So many people have played Sherlock Holmes. John Cleese played Sherlock Holmes? That can't be right. Roger Moore, Christopher Plummer.
Basil Rathbone.
Basil?
Basil Rathbone.
Bro.
I mean, really sharp features.
Was he
that's like
was he on TV or was it a movie?
30.
Like TV show?
That's the 30s.
TV shows.
TV show? Let's
Yeah.
see. I'm gonna find it.
I could have found it.
Yeah, let's find it.
So, yeah, different Sherlock Holmes.
Is that him?
Yes, that's
That's
him.
him?
That's him. What's his name?
Well, it doesn't say. It doesn't say his
Wait a
name.
minute.
I'm
I saw
gonna find
that.
out real
I saw
quick.
that picture.
Yeah, looks like a good-looking dude.
Yeah.
I guess it's Basil Rathbone.
Is that who it is?
I guess so.
Okay, maybe that's him.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, he was my favorite because he was so intense.
Yeah, I liked Sherlock Holmes a lot. The thing with I never saw the Robert Downey Jr. ones, but the
They were pretty good.
Benedict Cumberbatch ones I really ended up liking.
Yeah.
Only thing I don't like about Benny Cumberbatch is there's no chance of you solving the mystery. That's very much the
Oh,
you
yeah,
sit back
no.
and watch him work sort of thing.
Yeah.
At least with Robert Downey Jr. and a lot of the other Sherlocks, it's like I can sort of solve it along with him.
Yeah, I feel like
You ain't solving Cumberbatch's
he was-
mysteries.
Robert Downey Jr. was a little bit more of like a scrapper, like he's gonna fight with the bad
Yeah, he
guy.
fought a little bit too much. That's true.
Whereas Benedict Cumberbatch is more like where it's a mental.
That's one
get
thing.
battle.
I'll say that's one thing I don't like about the Poirot movies that Agatha Christie has. Like a lot of these new, like they're great movies, but there's no way in the world Hercule Poirot is fighting these bad guys with a cane. Like, like there's been books where like, and I think Sherlock's done this too, where like he solves the mystery and then the murderer like runs away and they're like, Poirot, go get him. He's like, are you insane?
I'm not
I'm not going to.
I'm not doing that.
I came here to solve the mystery. I don't care if he gets away. I feel like that's also a very Sherlock thing to do.
Yeah. No, it was fun walking around and reminiscing a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we pretty much called it the night and went back to our hotel, which was like an hour back outside of London.
Wow.
So we stayed outside of London
Uh-huh.
and then drove in just for that day, for the library, for the museum, for Sherlock Holmes. And then we were back on the edge of town, old London,
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
by the airport.
Wow.
And slept in, got up in the morning.
Jet lag? Or not really?
Jet lagged, yeah.
Yeah.
Jet lag was catching up.
I can imagine.
But we got going and rent our rental car. We took it and headed to Stratford.
Now that's
Wow.
where Shakespeare was born?
Shakespeare was born.
Wow. You're talking like 1500s, 1400s, something like that,
Yeah,
right?
the
That's
1500s,
incredible.
Yeah, so headed to see Mr. Shakespeare.
Mr. Bill Shakespeare.
Wow.
Yeah.
Billy Shakes.
So did you film there as well?
Shakespeare's home?
Shakespeare's
Yeah.
home? Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So when we went to Shakespeare's place, there were 3 places we had to go. One was his home, one was his new home, I think it is, and then one was Anne Hathaway, his wife's place.
Anne Hathaway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
Like
actress
the
Anne
actress,
Hathaway?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. People have made all kinds of like jokes and references about that because her husband, like if you put side by side pictures of like paintings that are done of William Shakespeare and Anne Hathaway's husband, they look eerily similar.
So is the place named Anne Hathaway or does Anne Hathaway?
No, Anne Hathaway was his wife's name. William Shakespeare was
Okay.
married to Anne Hathaway.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with actual Catwoman Anne Hathaway.
No,
Okay,
they just share the same name.
I
Yeah.
understood.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I-
people have been joking about that for since she became popular. Really, since she got married, because her husband and William Shakespeare, their portraits side by side, they look strikingly similar, and the names of the wives are the same.
Modern day Anne Hathaway's husband looks like Shakespeare, and Shakespeare's wife was named
Was named Anne
That's
Hathaway.
kind of crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
I
it's weird.
genuinely, I
It's
did
weird.
not know that. Huh.
So we went to the first 2 places, and then the plan was to go on to the third one. Anne Hathaway's place is a little bit outside of Stratford. Not outside, but kind of away from the main center of town. But then as I'm walking through this little shop at the new place, the lady there said, I asked him, I said, how long does it take to get to Anne Hathaway's place? Oh, maybe 10, 15 minutes by car. I said, great. I said, we're trying to make there on time. He's like, yeah, all these places close. Give me the time. And the church here, people go there too. I'm like, hey, what's special about this church? Oh, his family used to attend there.
Wow. They just say like it's a throwaway
Oh,
line.
just that.
I'm like, well, I'm going there.
Yeah, that's what I
I think
came
is
here
that
to
a
see.
ticket to there? It's like, no, it's free. People walk in there and see it. It's pretty
Wow.
cool. Also, this church went from being Catholic to Reform, it went through the Reformation, not Reform, but to the Protestant Reformation.
Right.
So they kind of scratched away some of the images on the wall
Oh,
of saints
wow.
or
And it's
whatever.
still scratched away today?
Yeah, still scratched away.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, I'm going there.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to hustle. So we got in there and saw everything. And this is John Shakespeare, who was William Shakespeare's father, who attended that church, was a key member of that church.
That's incredible.
Wow.
And then as I'm walking out, I'm looking at the map. It's like, oh, Trinity Church. That's where Shakespeare is buried? I'm like,
You gotta
why
go.
didn't
We gotta
anybody
go.
tell me these things?
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, he's
They're
actually
all right there together.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, Anne Hathaway's place is closing by such and such time. Trinity Church is this way. It'll take me good 5 minutes to get there, 10 minutes to look around, maybe 5 more minutes to get back to the car, drive this way. 25 minutes I got to give, and I can still make it to Anne Hathaway's place. Got it. I can do this. So I quickly jetted out of that church, went to the Holy Trinity Church. Sure enough, there's
He's there?
Shakespeare's grave
Wow.
Wow.
and Anne Hathaway's grave, and I'm like, I was gonna miss all this. Didn't know.
Yeah. They just, if it weren't for that chance comment.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Took pictures there, filmed a little bit, just videos, and then quickly got in the car and headed to Anne Hathaway's place.
So you made it to all of them.
all of them.
Very nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bill Shakespeare. Shout out to Bill
That's
Shakespeare.
amazing.
Love
That's
it.
amazing. Man, I know that there's so much more to unpack about your trip from England and just all the things that you're able to see. Unbelievable sights. And hopefully you guys are gaining stuff from these episodes as well, enjoying them. Write in and let us know, 252-582-5028. Or you can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. Don't forget, you can partner with us financially on that same website. Let us know it's coming from our Clearview Today Show family. Lots of great content coming your way the rest of this week. Make sure you guys tune in. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow on Clearview Today.